and welcome to Mad Goes Racing, and today we're in Factor 2 and having a look at some of the things that have been updated since my last video, which was a month or about 5 ago. So first thing we're going to do is have a look at the new user interface, and it's not quite out of beta, but as of November they are recommending that people actually start using it, because it has certain things they've done to it that will make an improvement to your overall joys of driving, shall we say. Maybe. I couldn't think what to say there. Bullshit, more bullshit. Anyway, basically there are certain things that they've put into the UI that will improve the way it feels and reacts and everything, and certain things have added that aren't in the old UI. So they are suggesting everybody transitions over to it now, and I think it's just about ready for mainstream use. It is, as you can probably tell by the fact my eyeballs are burning, a bit bright, and that's definitely got a touch of the... I think the first time I fired out, the first thing I was thinking of was LBGT, you know, sort of rainbows, and maybe that's just me, but whatever. It's definitely got that sort of vibe to it, shall we say. Do I think it's a bit too bright? Yeah, I think it is actually. At certain points, I can't remember when now, but at certain points the background turns grey. I don't know if they're going to have like a dark mode or something, but it would be nice. There might actually be one. I haven't found a damn thing, but it would be nice if they just toned the background down a bit. Now, in terms of what's in it, well, everything that's sort of in the old one should be in the new one, and there's a few extras like all the news feeds, so you can... don't scroll down, you have to press more. Basically takes you to a copy of the Studio 397 website with the news and everything else on it. So I'm assuming this is basically just a Chrome browser or something, like practically everything else that's now browser based. Why reinvent the wheel when you can just download the Chromium developer stuff and use that? So everything that's in here you can click on, and it's a web page. And then so obviously there's sort of the last few items there. Then you go across, you can actually scroll with the mouse wheel, just in case you're wondering why I'm fiddling about under here, as well as clicking on the individual buttons up here. Go back to race. This is where you'd set up your fuck's sakes, single player race, watching replays, community activity, forum, etc., and extra content. So if you want to check out your workshop and items and packages and things, if you go to the workshop, it should just take you to, I don't know if you can even see that, Steam overlay. As I haven't got the thing on showing me the... oh, how do we get out of this bloody thing? Basically that fires up the Steam overlay, and you can see the packages, and you can go to the item store. Workshop and the item store. The packages is actually... oh, this is one of the bits that's growing in the background. Takes you to all the packages that you currently have installed. And things like the all tracks and cars version and everything. And again, you can use your mouse wheel and scroll about along the bottom to see everything you've got installed. I'm assuming that you can you click on that? No, you can't. But there's various ways you can lay it out up here, that some you might find better than others. That's possibly a bit closer to the old style UI. And I think the last one was... oh no, that was the one we were in. Then the last one's this sort of weird block layout, and when you click on something it'll pop up the bit in the middle. That's quite a common layout for this, so if you wanted to sort of keep everything in that, but by the looks of it, you can alternate between different pages having different things in them. Again, there's a search box, which presumably if I start typing Zolder, it'll pop up and say Brienza. Well, that's clever. It didn't find Zolder because I haven't got Zolder. I bet Zandvoort. There we go, Zandvoort. Brain death is setting. Too many sims, too many downloads. But basically it's reasonably well laid out. It gives you a bit of variables on what you can do with it. You can obviously install, uninstall, refresh, etc. Quite all those do. I don't know because I haven't played with them that much. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just firing up the UI and seeing how it looks compared with the old one. In terms of, you can go sort out your race there and go straight into your race if you've already got the right setup for what you are wanting to play, or you can go into race, and this is where you'll get your version of the multiplayer single player buttons in the old UI. As far as the multiplayer goes, you will have your favourites here. Obviously I haven't got any at the moment, so if you press the more button and you go into the multiplayer bit, again this is a dark background, saying why they don't use that background for everything, I do not know, but they haven't. So this is a lot less eye straining. Again, you've got the choice of layouts to whatever. Personal preference would probably be that one because it's just a downside, easy to scroll down and find something if you want to. But what you can do is all the usual filters, so you can look for only ones that have actually got somebody in them, not full ones, public, etc. Same version, no AI, etc. You can also look on your LAN, your favourites and your friends. So if you do favourites, it'll go, I'm loading your server list. This shouldn't take very long. No servers found. So if we go back to internet, and wait a few seconds, you can then search for something like, oh, I don't know, RWB. And you don't have to hit return or anything on your keyboard, you just go, ooh. I'll click on that, and it comes up with some information up the side here. How many players, AI, ping, etc. Password, which of course you'll all know. You don't know. Join RWB and find out. You can then add that to your favourites. Has it done anything? Okay. I'm not sure that's done anything actually. Let's go back in. It worked flawlessly when I tried it the other day. Right, try favourites. Ah, right, it is in my favourites list. Thank God for that. Would have been really embarrassing otherwise. Right, so when you're going out, for some bizarre reason, despite the fact I've just been in and added something to my favourites, it didn't sort of go to this page and go, right, it's changed his favourites, refresh. So you have to hit your refresh button to get your list of favourites, and it'll be there. So anything you've got favoured is there and immediately available, so you can just click straight on it and go into it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because obviously I don't want to at the moment. As far as single player is concerned, again you can just use your mouse and scroll about a bit. Basically very similar to the sort of UI once you're in the UI on the old system, as opposed to the bit which you fire up. So this sort of combines the two. So as well as having the separate bit at the front where you get all your package manager, you go into single player, multiplayer, etc. This also has like the UI that when you're actually in the game. So all tracks and cars, and I think you only get that as a choice at the moment, don't you? Oh no, there's a R Factor 2 racing series. which car. You can choose your car. At the moment I happen to have this one selected, but again you get all the choice of having them in, which looks more like the original style from the old UI. So, but some people might prefer the old block style. Entirely up to you. You can mix and match. I think if you do it this way, you have to sort of do something a bit bizarre, work your way backwards through these, which is a little bit, I'm not sure that's so intuitive as just going down a list like this. So I'm a little bit on that bit. So we'll go back to that. Right, in terms of your session settings, again, why are we on a white background? I don't know. Lovely inconsistencies. You can set up your sort of general setups of what you're doing, practice, qualify, warm up and race, etc. So you can have like 2 races if you wanted to, or whatever. And I think every time you add something along there, something else pops up along the bottom here. I think this is one of the bits where you don't get a choice of layout, so take it or leave it. Usual crap with timescales, flag rolls, fuel usage, mechanical failures, weather. I'm not sure. I think you actually have to set that within that bit, don't you? Yeah. So it does follow up to a point, the old style system. Railroad, I seem to have the option of default or default. Don't know why. I can't remember what's in the old system, but basically once you'd set everything up, you just hit the race button. But we will just have a quick look under the settings. Everything that is in the settings is now in here, so control assignments, calibrate, which hopefully again they've used their lovely colour scheme for all the various things, but whatever. I think everything's here that was there before, so I can't see any particular difference. Again, you got all the different options on your controller assignments, graphics, usual stuff, and then display just gives you that, sound, your difficulty settings, which will be, I've only got invulnerability on so I don't crash into things when I'm pissing about, so don't complain. Replay, fidelity, etc. And then again you can scroll on the bottom there. Plugins, no idea. And your networking, probably never even played with that, so hopefully it doesn't bugger me up. I don't know if I should have a look at that before Saturday actually. But basically all the settings are there and you can tinker to your heart's content. There is also a bit of a help, alerts, whatever it is, thing up the side here, whatever. Again, you got watching community, but they're just replicating what's in these as far as I am aware. So you got a community, you just get the community stuff, which seems a little redundant to me, but who am I to complain? So basically you've got things that are here that are also up here, so I don't know whether they were just sort of trying to be as generic as possible in the way they did things, so whether they were thinking having a race multiplier etc along the top or what, don't know, but it does seem like it's quite a lot of things up here that are also down here, but who am I to complain? Anyway, let's have a think. What else has been changed in the last few months? Well, they are saying they are now going to drop 32-bit support. I think this is the last build that's going to have it. Some of the tools will still be 32-bit for now, but presumably they'll be porting all those over if they haven't got 64-bit versions to 64-bit, and everything will get dropped that's 32-bit. And my only question is, why would you still be running a 32-bit OS nowadays? I don't know, but whatever. Updates. There's been quite a few updates for tracks, putting in PBR, which are physically based rendering shaders, which are shaders that more accurately reflect, if you'll pardon the pun, life, by making sure that light is reflected, scattered in a more accurate way, because the more accurately you deal with the light, the better your things look. You can have the best textures in the world, but if light doesn't react with things properly, that still looks potentially like everything's made out of plastic or something similar. So it has made a good difference. They've updated Silverstone, Drummond, Nürburgring and the Nordschleife, and I think they've actually added another Nürburgring layout, the Vidal chicane version. Whatever. They've also made other updates. Drummond's got new buildings and towers. I think Silverstone has as well. They've also updated the tyre model for the stock car 2018. So they've put in 24 different tyres for 24 different circuits or something strange. It seems like a slightly weird thing to do, but I haven't tried them lately, but might be worth a look. New stuff. I don't know how I missed it, but I went back through my videos and went, I'm sure I was playing on Portland circuit in, I think it was the 488 GTE when that came out, and for some reason I don't seem to have a video of it, despite the fact I'm sure I did a shed load of laps in it. So what I'm going to do is to set up and have a practice session. If I can remember which. I think you can click on this and go there. Yeah, you can actually click in other places. It's not always intuitive, but once you work out where things are, I think you'll get there eventually. If we go to Ferrari, as well as the GTE, there is now a GT3, which is a brand new addition. And we're going to go in a GT3 Ferrari and have a look at the because I've got all these in different setouts and layouts, so I keep having to think, where am I? What am I doing? What am I looking for? Hopefully these are in alphabetical order. That was something I noticed bizarrely on the old UI. For some reason, there's a new version of Zandvoort with a 2020 layout, and for some reason it comes after Portland alphabetically, which confused the crap out of me. Now we'll try the one with the little chicane. There's basically the full course and the sprint course. The only difference is a chicane down the start-finish straight, which is a bit of a strange thing to do. I think we're only got it set to practice. Yep, just a practice session in the dry. The new loading screen is interesting. It sort of does this 3 sectors of the track in 3 colours bit, which is quite pretty. Portland, strange little course. I'm just trying to think what the hell I've seen it in before, and I couldn't for the life of me think what it is. So I'll stop trying to rack my brain because it's getting old, you know, and I can't think. But I've definitely seen Portland in something else, and I think it was something that had Indy cars in it, and I can't for the life of me think what it was. But basically Portland is it's quite a small little circuit. I was surprised how small it was actually when I raced on it and went round it, because Portland's always one of those sort of IndyCar races that seems to get quite a bit of prominence, unless I'm missing something somewhere. But yeah, interesting little circuit. Loading times are still quite pedestrian, although once you've loaded up a track once, if you come back and load it up again a second time, it's nowhere near as slow. I might speed this back up a bit. Damn, I'm nearly out of coffee. Now, we won't worry about setup, we will just hit the drive button. He's pointing that way, I'm going to go that way. And try not to get lost. Left or right? Right, okay. You sort of get to this point and go, can I get out the end here? Now, I think, hopefully, we've gone the right way. If we haven't, it's going to be really embarrassing. One advantage of taking so long to get there, at least there wasn't a red light when I got to the end of the bloody pit lane. Now, quite nicely modelled. It's I'm trying to remember. I think this has got the newer shaders on it, and they're less shiny, but more realistic looking, I think, than they were before. So the way it sort of reflects light is much more natural looking. So I think that's good. Not sure about the engine sounds, whether I like it or not. You have to be a bit careful about that wall. A couple of times it's sort of like quite easy to clip it. I don't know whether there's something a bit sticky outy, or whether it's just trying to follow the wall. I'm just getting too close at times, but I have clipped it a few times. But all in all, there you go. Just there usually, funnily enough. I think that's just me being a prat, but you know what it's like. But it's not a huge circuit, but we'll give it a little bit of welly. And remember to brake a bit for the chicane. bit of understeer, and we're off the side of the track. I was about to say, it's actually, I think, slightly better than the GTE version from what I can remember, because I haven't driven it for a while, but then I go and stick it on the side of the track like that. I've got no idea what sort of ABS and traction control settings I got. Just trying to remember if I got a button set up to actually adjust them. Let's see if we can do a lap without killing ourselves this time. Yeah, if I remember rightly, the GTE version felt a little bit tail happy, and this feels more planted. It's actually quite a tight little circuit, Portland, and I haven't driven around it for several months, so I've forgotten how tight it was. As ever with rF2, as you brake and turn, you can feel the front end loading up really nicely. So it does have good FFB. I think I might have it a bit high at the moment in this car. But at least have this per car setting, so you can change it to your heart's content. That was better. Bit too much grass. Probably not doing a car justice, but definitely it's definitely a nice tight little circuit. If you like nice tight little circuits, you'll like Portland. I think it's nicely modelled. It looks good. How the hell I get around here in fire-breathing things with IndyCar engines, breathing methanol and going like a clap out, I don't know. I should have really turned that off, shouldn't I? The old thing at the bottom there. What number is it? That one. Yeah, you got it right first time. Yeah, nice car. I think it's got a series of yeah, it's got the usual traction control settings. I don't know what it goes up to. 11? Yeah, it goes up to 11. All the best things go up to 11. Not sure if 0 is off or 1 is off, but the default is actually set quite low. And is it? Yeah, we've got. I can't actually see what it says down there because my mush is in the way because I've got the preview down in the corner there. But I think it says ABS system setting. So again, it goes up to 11. All of which you can adjust to your heart's content whilst driving. I don't think it's got any arb adjustments on the fly because I don't think they're allowed in. No, you can't. Don't think actually GT3 allows it. I don't think what bloody series it was. see if I can press the right button to get us out of here. I can. Again, the sort of replay system is fairly similar to the old one. I don't think it's a huge amount of difference. I think it's basically the same thing, but in a new front end. So you should still be able to sort of wheeze your way back to the start. Is that the right button? Is that the right button? Come on. Are we rewinding? Can't. Can I go back? Shite. So you got your usual TV cameras, got me on board, etc. Oh, should do the right thing, so. Spectator cam. I think that spectator is bored shitless and dropped dead, hasn't he? You're meant to be able to change it. But I think it looks actually quite pretty now. rFactor 2. It's certainly the work they've been doing has actually made it look better. So it looks less like just a mod of rFactor 1 with a few updates to the textures to something that actually looks much more 21st century, shall we say. Oh, where's my mouse gone? Couldn't see it for looking. But all in all, I think that looks quite nice. I'm going to spend too much time in there. I'm just going to pause because I need to go and get myself another cup of coffee because I should have got one before I started, but I'm a twat. Right, I'll unpause myself there. Now, obviously the Ferrari was, I think that was actually the last. Was that the last car they've released? I think it has, yeah. So, what else did they do? Well, they have updated the Zandvoort layout, as I accidentally showed you earlier. And there is now the 2017 and 2020, hopefully it's right at the end because it's Z. There's the Zandvoort 1.07, which is the 20... Hang on, what we got is the older layout. I think officially that's 2017, isn't it? Or is it? But there is also the Zandvoort 2... I'm going to scroll 2020 version, which is version 2.27, which is slightly confusing that it's a newer version than that one. But it's only got the GP layout, it hasn't got any of the other layouts, so I am assuming that despite the changes they'll still be able to use like the shorter circuit. But we're going to go and have a look around it anyway in a practice session. And again, you get the pretty pictures whilst it's loading. No, you can't have a sweetie. I'm just sucking this to try and keep some moisture in the back of my throat because my coffee's too bloody hot to drink. Let's try making it with hot water and no milk. Straight into drive. Now, if I just... I'll turn it off down here. Not that you can see it because my ugly mug is over there for you, isn't it? Right. Oh yeah, that's the point. I was going to turn down the in here somewhere. Where is it? In here somewhere should be an FFB thing. Where is it? Am I going bloody mad? I thought there was a per car FFB. Am I losing it? Or is it you have to set it in here? I'm not sure. Do you have to do it in here? Because I'm going to set it to 80. I think you might have to do it in here, which is a bit of a confusing. Let's see if it feels a bit lighter now. Yeah, that's a bit lighter. Thought I heard somebody shouting. Right, first thing to note is where the pit exit is. It's now round the bend. So I think the road is definitely a bit, I think they've widened out a little bit, but it definitely feels a bit more up and down than other versions. This is well and truly banked now, so you should be able to dive underneath somebody going into there. This is still pretty damn narrow. Oh, obviously they've changed the tarmac colour to show you where the new bits are. All of this should be identical to the old version. Round here, so they should feel pretty similar. I don't know if it's just me or whether that grass just looks a bit bizarre. What do you think? What do you think, viewer? Do you think the grass looks a bit bizarre over there? It's a bit tufty and sort of green and yellow little lumps, so I think that looks a bit strange. Might just be my personal preferences. It is still, I believe, a beta version of the track, so who knows. I'm not sure if any of these other buildings and things have changed. I think some of that lot's new. Of course, I'd have to look at the two back to back now. I think they've changed this a little bit. Certainly re-tarmacked it. And then you get the run down to the final. I'm not even going to bother to try and pronounce some of the corners around here. They're ridiculous, but that feels like it's been reprofiled slightly. But this has definitely been reprofiled because it's now hugely banked. Whoever he is. So, let's see if we can go a little bit quicker, shall we? I think that's called Tazenbocht or something. The rest of them, not a chance. Now this does feel like it needs a little bit more front end on it. Whether that's because the tyres are still a bit cold, I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if a little bit more FFB or a little less is required there. It feels initially like it's got plenty of bite, and then it seems to sort of fall over a little bit over its own load, if that makes sense. It's sort of like there as the edge. It almost feels like slightly too much drop off, but then I think the pre-Evo version of the 488 in ACC is very similar. It's got quite a sharp drop off in its default. Whoops. Certainly no need to lift off there. I mean, that's almost flat in a GT3 car anyway, but... back end feels like you do with a bit more, I was going to say grip, but just, maybe it doesn't need more grip, just a little bit more aero balance backwards a bit, maybe. I'm literally driving this in the default setup, so I think that's what if I remember right, that's what I found with the GTE one. It was aero balance was a bit too far forward, but it might just be me and the way I drive. One man's perfect setup is another man's dog's dinner. I mean, there it feels like it's trying to rotate a bit more than I would like if I stuck my foot down in the harder, but then I could always apply a little bit more traction control. As for the circuit, I think it's an interesting stab. How accurate it is, I have no idea. I don't know that the original was scanned or whether it was just sort of done by eye job, but it does give you an interesting insight. It'll be interesting to see how many other sims pop up with a version of the 2020 track to see how different they are. But I think the changes, I'm not sure that they'll make a huge amount of difference as far as something like Formula 1's concerned, because basically that back straight, use the term straight, it's still just too bloody narrow. You can barely get two cars side by side along there, so I'd hate to try it with two open wheel cars. Let's have a quick see if I can get my brain around how this bloody thing works. Yeah, about there-ish. I don't think the grass around here looks right. I can't remember what it was like in the other version actually. Whether this is exactly the same and they've just changed the pieces of track to be slightly different or not. But of all the newer circuits, I think this has got the worst looking grass and trees of the ones in fact that I've looked at recently. But like I said, this is a very much work in progress, I think we'll say. Yeah, you can see the slightly strange looking grass, but you are at a funny position there, so it's almost like it's too big, too tufty. Needs a bit more, could do with a bit more 3D grass, but of smaller proportions, so it's, I don't know. Definitely a bit strange. But yeah, nice little car. We'll just fast forward a bit where I'm giving it the berries a bit. Or trying to anyway. Sounds nice from out here. There's definitely a very nasty lump just as you go into that particular corner, as you come over that crest. Catch it wrong, it'll kill you stone dead. I was trying the Corvette C7 round here the other day and literally killed myself three laps in a row going over that crest. But having said that, I've also done that in ACC, so your mileage may vary, as may your death rate. One thing that I will note is, if that looks a bit stuttery at times and looks a bit strange, it's actually doing between 150 and 200 frames a second at the moment in the replay, because I'm sure whilst we were driving it was locked as VSync. I'll check again in a minute, but yeah, it's now doing like 500 frames a second, which, yeah, fair enough, but why? Only needs to be doing 70 or whatever your thing should be locked to. Right, next, the piece de resistance is, of course, the one that begins with S and ends with Perfunctions. I don't know what the difference between the road course and the road course, that one and that one is. One's an endurance layout, so it might be the pits, come to think of it. Because obviously with the endurance layout you can use both sets of pits and the other one only uses one or the other, so that might be the difference. I haven't actually bothered to check because I wasn't that worried. Whatever, doesn't make any difference. Right, and the other new bit, the 2020 version of the GT3 Bentley, Incontinent for the old people, or Continental for the newest. We'll go for the we'll go for the Valentino Rossi number. That's a bit of a colour scheme, isn't it? As part of the work to get the Bentley 2020 and the Evo 488 in, they've actually redone the bot on all the cars, so they should be a bit closer now. I don't know if they've bopped them on a per track basis or whether they've bopped them across the whole lot and sort of gone, right, well, we'll see how that gets on. And obviously the point about the way cars are bopped is you can't guarantee that each car will be absolutely perfectly the same on every single track. The idea is you need to bop them across a range of tracks, so on one track one car might have a huge advantage, on another one it might be totally disadvantaged, but at the end of the day, as long as they're there or thereabouts around all the tracks. Everything's hunky-dory. And apart from which, if you're slower and older like some of us, you probably wouldn't make a lot of difference if you were in a faster car anyway. I was quite impressed to get within a second and a half of the fast people yesterday in the race I was doing. Loading, loading, loading. We are still loading, 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 loading. 90. Right. I should of course have had a look in the bit where you can see the outside of the car, showroomy thing, if I could remember where it is. Oh, on the lock stop. Now that's bizarre. It's like a very, very slow speed. It just didn't want to accelerate at all, which is, that's better. It feels like that's going to be a bit of a heavy on the steering. Yeah, it's going to be very heavy. Ooh, wrong button. That was the pause button. Try the. Yeah, that was weird. That was right. Let's have a look in here and see if it still says. Where is it? Was it under calibration? It was. Yeah, no, not that. Right, I'll turn it down to 80. See if it feels any different. That's a bit lighter. Oh yeah. That's what the difference between the normal and the endurance is. And the other one you can get out of that in the back there. On this one you have to go all the way down here and do the ridiculously long pit stop. Which I suspect means you never get to the point of seeing the red light at the end of the pit lane, but which still annoys the crap out of me. That's a bit loud, but we'll put up with it for a minute. Now, I'm just trying to remember how many times I've driven this. I think it's probably about once. But it does feel rather nice. In fact, it feels so nice that I'm attacking a course without even going, I should really be showing you what it looks like, shouldn't I? But we'll have a very quick look around, shall we? In terms of the model, it's actually very nice. Good selection of trees, not too many sort of all looking the same. I can't remember if you can go flat around here. You probably could. Some of the curves are a little bit lumpy, but I have to take the rough with the smooth, as they say. That's the thing with rF2, sometimes you find some of the curves sort of grab you a bit and others don't, so well, that one's a little bit grabby. I don't know whether they're slightly concave or what, no idea. Right, will it or won't it? It would have done, but my right foot went, no! Whoops! Trying to get away from me. I have to say this Bentley is really, really nice to drive. Occasionally it does feel like the back end is trying to get away a little bit. Just give it a little bit more TC. Did I just run off track there and it just go, oh, I'm not going to include that? As the lap counter just stopped working. We'll try that again. I have no idea what a good lap round here is in this car. And this is absolutely stock, so no lift. Sort of speeds we're going to hit here, 165-ish. Now, as far as the car is concerned, this is part of the GT3 pack, if you buy that, if I remember rightly. So if you've already bought the pack, you should see this appear. I think. I might be talking out my arse, but I don't think I am. Otherwise, the none of the packs, the endurance pack or the GT3 pack, includes the Ferraris. They're only available separately, which is a bit of a strange thing to do, but of over rotation now. Still don't know if that's a good or bad time, but the car does feel nice. Whether or not it's getting a bit warm on the tyres, I don't know. Yeah, not too bad. I'll leave that on. Oh. I thought I might say that. Halfway up Eau Rouge, it just decided it was going to start slithering sideways. It's a bit of a pain. Got a bit of a off-throttle oversteer by the feel of it. It's like everything else, it may or it may not be the way the car's set up by default. It doesn't really suit my driving style as well as it could. It's certainly not undrivable by any stretch of the imagination. Just a matter of get used to the way it goes. Definitely more oversteer biased and understeer, both on entry and on exit. So if you prefer a bit more understeer, you might have to change it a bit to suit your needs. I can live with it, but I prefer it a little bit more neutral. Give me a time or not? Nah. Now, I have to say, the circuit is great. It is presumably laser scanned. Nicely detailed, not overdone. The texturing and the lighting actually works really well. And if you change the sort of time of day, you do get some nice shadows and nice colour changes as the light changes. So all in all, it all looks pretty damn good. Let's just have a look. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. I really must turn the sound down because it is a little bit too loud. It's the sort of sound level where I put Discord on and I wouldn't be able to hear anybody saying any bloody thing, so needs a bit of adjustment. But get the mouse pointer out of the way a bit. It does sound very nice. I'm not sure about that particular farty noise halfway up the straight there. Was that me changing it to 6th? I think a driver model could do with a slightly less head, but definitely getting a bit of rotation there. all in all, I think they've definitely made some nice improvements. The shader work is definitely good, and they've got a more natural look than it did have a couple of years back, whenever I last really took much notice of the texturing. New cars are looking good. I don't know what else they got up their sleeve. Still hate the way they sell the bloody things, but they are getting to the point now of having a few packages, so it's I was expecting when I pressed escape for it to go back there. I think it's they're now sort of doing more the here's a track pack, here's the sort of endurance pack, the GT3 pack and everything, so it is getting better, and they are having quite regular sales, so you should be able to pick up most of the packs reasonably. You got a spot on my screen. Reasonably priced. If you pick them up in one of the sales, they're generally about 50% off for the car packs and 25% for the track pack or something. But all in, definitely going in the right direction, like most of the Sims are, hopefully, and it's worth getting for the base content. I can't remember how much it is at the moment. I think they were on sale again recently, and the base version of rFactor was actually reasonably priced. I will post the link so you can see what's in the base underneath, because there is quite a bit of free content, but there's definitely more you can pay for. And if you want to do a bit of GT3, LMP or GTE racing, you will have to buy additional content. So, and some of the tracks are obviously additional, but all in all, going in the right direction and definitely getting better. So for me, for now, get a jab as soon as you can, then you can get out and do things and see the real world. Trouble is, it's the middle of bloody winter over here, so you probably want to stay indoors anyway, do some racing. So have fun, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.